Hey guys, welcome back to Father and Son Investing. We're going to talk about Matterport today. I want to give you my 3 reasons why I think the stock was up so much today. Just how much was it? Well, we're looking at about 21%. Now, before we get to that, I want to tell you what one of my goals is before the end of the year for this channel. We have never had a video get 10,000 views in 1 week. We have had 2 videos that have gone over 10,000 views, but those took quite a while to get there. So the goal before the end of the year is to give you guys something that's worthy of 10,000 views. Now, is this video the one? Probably not. It's going to be pretty short, but I'm going to come up with something that you guys are all going to want to watch and share for 10,000 views in a week. That's my goal. Reason number 1, I'm going to give you something that actually has to do with their business, not just hype. I like investing in businesses because of what they do and the value that they can add to society. So in this case, Matterport recently announced that they had expanded their on-demand capture services by 55%. Now that's actually pretty significant. They added 16 more United States cities and get this, 20 more within the United Kingdom. That was very significant for the United Kingdom. Previously, they only had 4 cities that they were scanning in. Now, this has actually gone pretty fast this year. Let me take you back to an article from, two articles from earlier this year. All right, this is an article from July in PR Newswire, and it talks about Matterport adding 14 more cities to their United States coverage. That brought the total to 26 at the time. This was just back in July. They made it to 26. We fast forward to October. We see in this announcement that they added 13 more U.S. cities, and at the time of October, then that brought it up to 80. So in between July and August, they were adding cities along the way and managed to get to 80. That is pretty significant. Of course, they were still only at 4 cities in the United Kingdom back in October. So if we look at this recent announcement last week, they now have customers in over 100 cities in the United States and 25 cities now within Great Britain / the United Kingdom, where a Matterport technician can come to a building and scan it on demand for a customer. Why is that important? I want to take you back to the third quarter conference call transcript, and let's look at this paragraph. They were talking about why they thought their revenue may be down, and it says here, we are experiencing challenges in hiring to our internal plans in several areas, including in our capture services business. We expect our capture services growth to be constrained by this factor. Further, it says, therefore, while we experienced record enterprise bookings at the end of the third quarter, we expect it will take longer for some enterprise customers to ramp up their digitization efforts under those contracts than originally planned. Now, this actually is pretty important that they've managed to get this to this level. Just think, back in July, they were only at 26 U.S. cities. Now they're over 100. So they've essentially quadrupled their capability there. And in Great Britain, the United Kingdom, they have more than quadrupled their capability there. Now, Matterport is making some changes to the way that they do their capture services. In the past, they've used what they called MSPs, Matterport Service Partners. And they had about 5,000 of these partners, but the problem was some of them were not scanning very often, doing less than 4 scans a month. And so the quality of the scans was not what they considered up to par, and they felt like that was keeping their business down, actually, because people weren't satisfied with the product. So instead, Matterport has gone to hiring capture services technicians, and they have specific requirements for this. They have to have scanned a minimum of 20 properties, and they also have to own a $3,000 Matterport Pro 2 camera, which obviously is not cheap. Additionally, they have to live within 35 miles, which is about 50 kilometers, of large city centers that they determined to have some enterprise demand for scanning. What does that mean? Well, there may be technologists who are qualified to do the work, but if they don't live in the right place, they still can't be hired, at least for the present time, as one of their technicians. So just how big is the demand? Well, they list here on their website that currently they have customers signed up in over 140 cities across the United States and Canada, as well as 250 cities in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, with over 100 cities across the Asia-Pacific region. So right now, the demand far exceeds their capability with the Matterport service technicians that they're trying to hire. The fact then that they've been able to quadruple this since July is actually a pretty amazing feat when you think about it. And even 55% just over about the last 6 weeks or so. All right, let's go to reason number 2. Now, this actually is the reason why I think that the biggest price increase in Matterport stock occurred today. And that, of course, is a new COVID-19 variant. Some people call it Omicron, some people call it Omicron, depending on where you live in the world. I think either is acceptable. I'm not going to get into that debate. Now, the reason why I think that this is really driving the price up today is that people get scared. Anytime there's a new announcement now about this pandemic, people get worried about it and what the future effects will be, and that can have really drastic effects on the stock market as well as certain stocks. Don't believe it? Look at Moderna's stock and how rapidly it has gone up in just 2 days. I think Matterport is also getting some of the tailwind of this concern, and their stock price is getting driven up. Why is that? Well, imagine that if countries go back into lockdown or some variant of a lockdown, that seeing properties real time just may not be possible. And so therefore, the way people are going to look at homes to buy, look at properties to rent, is going to be online. And the best way to do that is with this 3D dollhouse model that Matterport can generate. They are the best at doing it, and they have the biggest market share at doing it. That is how people are going to be able to continue to buy homes and rent properties, etc. And so I think that is driving some of Matterport's stock up as well, a new variant. Now, what's the third reason? It has to do with a particular analyst at WEBULL and what he had to say over the weekend. So the analyst's name is Dan Ives. He is an analyst at WEBULL, a tech analyst. And if we look here at tip ranks, he's well respected. They give him a rank of 21 out of over 7,000 analysts on their site. And if we look at his performance, we'll see that they give him a 76% success rate, and his average returns just a measly 38.4%. So he's well respected. What were the comments that he made over the weekend? All right, well, he talked about WEBULL's investment tech playbook. And really no surprise, the biggest ones were going to remain the same: Apple, Google, Amazon, and Microsoft. He did go on to talk about some cybersecurity firms that WEBULL is interested in. And those, if you're interested, are Zscaler, Palo Alto Networks, CyberArk Software, and Verona Systems. This is what he had to say. Ultimately, this is not the first or last variant scare, and our tech playbook over the last 18 months has been to use these macro/risk-off events as buying opportunities to own the tech sector, specifically cloud, cybersecurity, and 5G winners. According to Mr. Ives, the variant fears reinforce the WEBULL belief that cloud build among enterprises will be persistent as companies grapple with a flexible or semi-remote workforce in the years ahead. Now, after he talked about the big players, he did go on to talk about IBM, and then there's just one mention here. It says Ives named Matterport Inc. as a metaverse play. That was it. That was enough to drive some of this increase in the stock share price, I think, as well. Of course, Mr. Ives has talked in the past about Matterport, and he's also talked about metaverse in particular. So, interestingly, I saw an ad the other day that was essentially to purchase property in the metaverse. We're not talking about real property. We're talking about metaverse property, but being able to purchase it there, which obviously can be valuable. Certainly companies purchase space within video games and pay video game makers for that. And this can be something akin to that. Now, I would imagine that real world companies might like to have their actual space in the metaverse and have it look like their actual space too. And so being able to scan their businesses with this fancy $3,000 camera is going to potentially generate a lot more money for Matterport as the metaverse continues to expand. All right, those are my 3 reasons why I think Matterport went up today. You may have some other reasons. I would love to hear them. Please share them in the comments. If you think I didn't explain something very well, or I'm just way off on my opinions, please let me know that too. Please share this information with a young person in your life. Make investing a family affair. Man, it can be fun to get other people involved and have some good discussions. Until next time, enjoy your investing.